Hi guys, and welcome to Salim's Kitchen. In today's video, I will show you how to make the perfect samosa pastry strips and spring roll sheets like these using the same dough. Before we start making the samosa pastry and the spring roll sheets, cut out the following cardboard measurements. This measurement is to shape, mark, and cut out the rolled out sheet. The size is 34 centimeters in width by 22 centimeters in length. Then mark out 1, 2, 3, 4 lengths of 6 centimeters in width, which we will use to mark out the samosa pastry strips. And then you will be left with a strip of 10 centimeters, which we will use to mark out the spring roll sheets. The next measurement is 10 centimeters in width by 11 centimeters in length. This measurement will be used to shape and cut out the spring roll sheets. The next measurement is a 5 centimeters in width long strip. It must be longer than your sheet measurement. This we will use as a ruler to cut out the strips. Once you have cut out your cardboard measurements, let's now make the dough for the samosa and spring roll pastry. So in a mixing bowl, add in 2 cups like this here. 1 cup is 125 grams. So it will be 2 cups or 250 grams of all-purpose wheat flour. One teaspoon of salt. Give this a quick mix to mix in the salt with the flour. And once you have mixed it well, form a well like this here. Now we are going to be using normal tap water, which is lukewarm water, little at a time to form a dough. Remember, when you are making your dough, you will always mix it like this here lightly, just for the water to absorb with the flour. So you will not press, and just carry on mixing it like this lightly until all the water is absorbed by the flour. Now, once all the flour absorbed all the water, it will turn into wet lumps like this here. Remember, I mixed very gently without pressing. So once it turns into wet lumps like this, it's very easy to make your dough or form your dough. Now you can press using your fist and just fist it down and lift it up and fist it down, and you see how quick your dough forms. This is the best and easiest and quickest way to form your dough. And there you have it, guys. Our dough is now formed. Now knead this dough well for 2 to 3 minutes. Now, once your dough is formed, I used around 180 milliliters of water to form this dough. And if your dough comes out a bit sticky, just add in a little dry flour. And if it comes out a bit too dry, just add in a little water until you get the perfect consistency. So now that our dough is formed, let's rest it for 10 minutes. After 10 minutes of resting your dough, roll it out into a long cylinder like this. Now, the size of your cylinder is one ruler length, which is 30 centimeters. So use the ruler as your guide to mark out 5 centimeter size pieces. Just mark them out. You will get 6 pieces. Now cut out your pieces. This is the easiest way to turn your dough into pieces. Now turn all 6 pieces into cylinders. This is also very simple. Just bring it back into a cylinder shape by rolling it very gently like this here, and then pick it up and press it down, and as quick as that, a disc is formed. Once your discs are made, put them back in the same bowl that you made your dough in. This way we will keep it covered so that it stays nice and moist, and we will work with one disc at a time. And remember, throughout the pastry making process, your dough has got to be moist, and the only way you can do that is by always keeping it covered. Now let's roll out the rotis. Always work with all-purpose dry flour. This is the same flour we used to make the dough. So always add some on your workboard like this first to prevent the dough or the disc from sticking to your workboard. So you'll always use your fingers like this and press it out. This will make your rolling so much more easier. And then turn it over again and press it out. Now we are ready to roll. So guys, please remember to roll out a plate size roti. A plate size roti is a big roti. So guys, a very important point to remember is that the amount of oil that goes into your pastry is determined by the size of your roti. If your roti is very small, very less oil will be applied. But if your roti is big, enough oil will be applied. And when rolling out the layered sheet, there will be enough oil on your roti, because when you're rolling out the layered sheet, all your rotis start to stretch, and the extra oil will accommodate for that. And this is one of the main reasons why your pastry don't separate after toasting, is because you are rolling out your roti too small. And there you have it, guys, a plate size roti. You can always use a plate to check, and you can see it's a plate size roti. And remember, your roti don't have to be perfectly round, because we are going to shape it again. Now, after you have rolled out your roti, on your work table, apply dry flour like this here, so your roti won't stick onto your table. And set your roti on top. And remember to keep it covered. Like I said earlier on, you have to keep it moist throughout this entire process. And the only way you can do that is by always keeping it covered. And once our plate size rotis are rolled out, we are now going to use vegetable oil and oil them in layers of 6. Now you can use a brush if you prefer, or use your fingers like me, and make sure you oil it well. So there must be no dry areas here without oil, because when you're separating it, it will not separate where there's no oil, that area there will stick together and not separate. So once you have oiled it well and there's no dry spots anywhere, then you can start layering them. And this is the sixth roti, which you will not oil. Now let's roll out this into a sheet. Now we are going to roll it out into a rectangle sheet to fit our measurement. So use your fingers and gently press it like this here. And then when you turn it over, use the two ends, pick up the two ends like this, pick it up so it stretches and turn it over. This way you can see it's starting to square here. So do the same on the side. And pick it up here like this and turn it over again. You can see how the rectangle shape is forming. Now let's apply dry flour. Turn it over again. More dry flour. Now let's roll it out. Now I am using a heavy rolling pin. This is a marble rolling pin, which makes rolling for me very easy because of the weight of the rolling pin. So I don't have to press. So I will use the weight of the rolling pin and run my rolling pin very gently like this, 1 and 2 times, and then turn it over. Again, 1 and 2 times, and then turn it over. And I'll continue doing this. Now we can just roll the ends here out a bit. Now let's check with our sheet measurement. And you can see I need to roll it out a little more. Some dry flour. Two times. Stretch. Turn it over. Some dry flour. And stretch. And turn it over. There you have it. Now let's check with our sheet measurement. And there you have it, guys. Perfect. Now let's shape it. Now let's cut off the edges all around the measurement. Remember, do not pull your knife like this when you're cutting. Always press your knife down, then lift and pull through, and then press it down. And there you have it, guys, a perfect rectangle sheet. Now let's mark out our 6 centimeters in size width strips. Now let's cut them out using our long strip measurement, the one I said we can use as a ruler. So from end to end, again, press it down and pull, press it down, pull. And there you have it, guys, 4 sets of 6 centimeters in width size strips and 1 set of 10 centimeters in width size strip. This will be for our spring roll. Now let's set them onto our baking tray. So guys, when you transferring it onto your baking tray, fold it like this here and let it sit on your 4 fingers like this here, and bring it onto your tray and then pull it from the front here and gently unfold it. This way you will not interfere with the strip. You will not stretch it. Now for toasting, toast it in a preheated oven at 250 degrees Celsius. I am using a mini oven, so that's the highest my oven goes to. If you have a big oven, use it, set it to your highest temperature. And the idea to toasting your pastry is that it must toast very quickly. Do not let it sit in your oven for very long because it will not separate. And make sure you heat your oven with both. You have 2 elements, the bottom baking element and the grilling element on. And make sure you preheat your oven at least 5 minutes before toasting. Now toast your pastry for 3 minutes or until you see it starts to rise or bubbles will start to form. After 3 minutes, you can see it's starting to rise. Now turn it over. And toast it for 30 seconds. And after 30 seconds, the pastry is now toasted. Now let's separate them. Once you separate them, keep them covered in a damp cloth so that they stay nice and moist and don't dry out. Now let's separate the spring roll sheets. Now use your spring roll sheet measurement and cut it in half. And there you have it, guys, a full tutorial on how to make samosa pastry strips and spring roll sheets. And you can see they make beautiful samosas. And spring rolls. Now for storing, store them in freezer bags like this here. And freeze them for up to 6 months. When required, you can remove it from the freezer and allow it to fully thaw out and microwave it on normal settings for 2 minutes. It will be as good as the day you made them. So guys, please be sure to give this recipe a try. And thank you for watching. Until my next video, stay blessed and peace out.